Welcome to my review of the Lotus Emira. A lot has happened in the nearly 2 years since Lotus announced the Emira as their last internal combustion engine vehicle. I was checking my records and I put down my deposit on an Emira 20 months ago, and that still put me so far down the list that I was not eligible for a first edition. It's March 2023, and a couple weeks ago, Lotus had a big meeting in California with all their dealers. They announced some changes. One of the most important changes is that they are going to be creating a V2 first edition car, which will offer some additional colors, but it's also going to cost considerably more. The initial pricing on the Lotus Emira V6 first edition was $93,000. Now that pricing for the V2 is moving up to $105,000. That makes it a very different equation. There's no question that the Lotus Emira is fun as hell to drive. It's an exotic and capable sports car, as you can see here. If you'd like to see more, check out my other Emira videos, including the Emira test drive. The original spec and the original pricing was compelling, but now at this new price, I'm not sure that it is anymore. And you have to look at some of the cars that compete in this space. When I heard that a new dealership, Lotus Cape Fear, was offering test rides of the Emira in Wilmington, North Carolina, I called up a couple car buddies, Kevin and my other friend Kevin.
Hi, I'm Larry. This is my brother Daryl. That's my other brother Daryl.
Both Kevins are big car guys. They both follow Formula One. Kevin G on the left has a yellow Porsche Boxster that he's been daily driving for the last 23 years. Kevin M on the right owned a purple BMW M3 E36 for about a decade, and then later owned a BRZ. So like I said, they're both good car guys. They've both ridden in my Lotus Elise, and Kevin M on the right has actually driven it and taken others for joyrides. The Kevins and I had 30 minutes each behind the wheel for a total of 90 minutes, so that's not bad for a test drive. Let's see what the Kevins thought of the Lotus Emira.
So now you guys get to learn how unprofessional I am. So I wasn't recording when you guys gave your earlier comments.
Okay, so you want us to review?
Sure.
So, the Emira is everything that is good about your lease, Peter.
Yeah.
It has the handling, the steering is super direct. It's hydraulic, not electric, which is hard to find, and you will absolutely feel it, notice it. You can feel everything in the road. It is, I think it handles every bit as well as yours, but there's creature comfort, and Shane, who also had a BRZ like I did, we're like, this is as easy to daily drive as a BRZ.
Yeah.
But, oh my gosh, it is rocket fast. Fastest car I've ever driven, and just beautiful engine sound. The gearbox is sweet. Pedal box is perfect for heel toe. I mean, just, that's a wonderful car.
Awesome.
As Ferris Bueller said,
And
you
I
have the
must be
means.
honest here. I love driving it. It is so choice. If you have the means, I highly recommend picking one up.
Picking one up.
Nice.
And red seats.
Yeah.
Which are amazing.
So tell us about your mistress.
It's the same as a second wife.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're one of the best cars I've ever driven. Honest to God, it's like the noises and the sounds, just phenomenal.
Nice. And
Thank
your wife
for
said you
inviting-
can't. And your wife said you cannot have
I
one.
cannot have it. If I brought it home, she wouldn't complain.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good.
Well, she would for the first week.
Gotcha.
The sound of the engine.
When you let off the exhaust, it's like
There is a supercharger whine.
Yeah, that's. I was like, what's that
The
noise?
whole time that is
Oh, I'm not
just
trying to hide. I just want to
glorious. And you know, it gets smoother the harder you rev it. It can be a little rough and rumbly
At the
at
beginning.
low RPMs. And then you put your foot in it and it's like a turbine. It just gets so smooth and just makes such a great sound.
I couldn't find the tack for a while, right? So
Oh,
I was
yeah.
shifting too early.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
that
I was
digital line,
like,
right?
Yeah, and I was looking at the thing and I didn't notice.
I
what
did
it
the
was.
same thing.
Yeah.
I was short shifting without realizing that's got to be the top, right? Oh no,
Nope.
you were a long way away.
Yeah.
The good news about that is it has a really high rev limit. So I mean,
6,800.
yeah,
I never
yeah,
got close
really
to
good.
that.
So what do I think of the Emira? After my test drive, one of the Kevins approached me. He said I looked thoughtful and asked what I thought of the Emira. So here it is. When Lotus first announced the Emira, the first edition packaging was compelling at the original price of $93,000. That was consistent with what I expect of Lotus. They're delivering a superior driving experience, specifically for car lovers, at a price point that is better than the competition. So you get more value for your money. I absolutely love Lotus's mantra of simplify then add lightness, and it's really been embodied in the Elise and the Exige. though not so much in the Evora, and therefore not in the Emira, which borrows heavily from the Evora. When the Emira was announced 2 years ago, it was very exciting. It was a beautiful new car. It was part of Lotus's announcement that it would be their last internal combustion engine vehicle. It came with a nice V6 and a manual transmission, all very sexy stuff. But now, almost 2 years later, some of that excitement has worn off. There have been delay after delay, and there's a lot of frustration from that. And now on top of it, they're raising the price by almost $12,000. So when I look at a first edition spec of an Emira at $105,000, I really feel like I need to look at some of the competitors. The Porsche Cayman and Base 911, the Corvette C8, and the Toyota Supra, all of which are on my bucket list of cars to own. So until I've vetted them, I just can't really say. But I would have to say at this new price point, the Lotus Emira is uncompelling, at least to me. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on the way you look at it, I don't have to make a decision for quite a while. I've got my deposit down on an Emira, and I'm going to keep my place in line. And until the time comes when I actually have to place an order and configure my car, I have time to compare and drive other vehicles. So I'm going to do that, and I'll share that with you here on my YouTube channel. So stay tuned.
But oh my gosh, it is rocket fast. Fastest car I've ever driven, and just beautiful engine sound. The gearbox is sweet. Pedal box is perfect for heel toe. I mean, just that's a wonderful car.
Awesome.
As Ferris Bueller said, if you have the means.
I love driving it. It's so choice. If you have the means, I highly recommend picking one up.
So tell us about your mistress. And your wife said you cannot have
I
one.
cannot have it. If I brought it home, she wouldn't complain.
Yeah, okay.
There is a supercharger whine.
Oh, I'm not trying to hide. I just want to read it.
And you know, it gets smoother the harder you rev it. It can be a little rough and rumbly at low RPMs. And then you put your foot in it and it's like a turbine. It just gets so smooth and just makes such a great sound.